All right. Hi, Tijan. How are you? You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? So what
Are
is
you
going
on
on?
mute?
No, I'm not on mute.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Not you, Easy. I can't hear you.
All right, give me 1 second. So that's why. Hold on.
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
Unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Unmute. He should be able to hear you now.
Can you hear me now? No. Oh, this is terrible.
Unmute.
I'm not on mute. Can you hear
No,
me?
he is.
Oh, he's not. Okay.
He needs to unmute.
Oh, he's not on mute.
He's
Nothing. I
showing.
can't hear anything.
Okay,
I
Okay.
there
see
you
your
go.
mouth moving, but I don't hear no words.
You still can't hear me. Okay. He said that he can't hear me at all.
You, okay,
Nope.
you are. Okay,
1 second.
there you go. I can hear
Your
you.
laptop
Okay.
might have an issue.
No, I was just
No,
in another live.
um, but you can hear me though, right?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I'm not.
call on the telephone.
What? Jerome. All
Call
right.
on.
All right. Bye. All right. I'm gonna try something. Hold on. This is crazy. Technical difficulties, guys. This whole night has been a technical difficulty. Technical difficulty. I can't even speak. All right. Give me 1 second, Dijon. Let me see. So Jerome is multitasking tonight, everyone, and he is actually at another event. But I'm going to try and get this up and running. So give me 1 second. I'm going to try this real quickly. I'm coming in with my other phone, and let's see if that works. Okay, hold on. That might be it. Hello. Can you hear me now, Dijon?
Much better.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure what happened there, but all right. So this is a new one for me. We're going to do it via the phone.
I
And
typically do them on my phone because sometimes the laptop acts up.
not sure what that's about, but we apologize, guys. You guys know that I am very anal with certain things, but neither here nor there. This is Michelle Diamond, and thank you so much, Mr. Dejan, for being such a wonderful person and being so patient with us today. So, we welcome you to another segment of In the House Media House Call. And of course, we have with us our special guest, Dejan Talks. How are you doing? How are you this evening?
I'm doing well. I can't really complain. I get to see another day. I'm breathing. I think I'm doing a little bit better than most.
Absolutely, I concur. I had a little run in, but I'm doing much better. Still a little sore. I know you checked in on me also, so I appreciate that. So tell us a little bit about who Dejan Talks is and where you're from.
A little bit of background about me. I'm originally from Haiti. I came here at 6 and a half as a Haitian refugee on the run for my life. Apart from that, been shot a couple of times, been stabbed a few times, been homeless,
Wow.
dropped out of high school, went back to high school, graduated with three full scholarships to college, prom king, basketball star,
Mhm.
um, ate out of trash cans, slept on the bridges. It's a mixture of a nice roller coaster of what we would call of life
Right.
that had tailored the concept of what you would define as Dijon Talks today.
Wow. That's a lot, and just to see how much you have overcome and you know how much you have now in your life as far as abundance. That to me shows your commitment and dedication in wanting to be here and sharing your story. So tell us what it is that motivated you to become a speaker and a life coach.
Honestly, to goodness, I think life itself just tailored me into that path. When I looked at some of the trials and tribulations that I've overcame in my life, and then the moments that I was supposed to probably be what we call lose my life, and I survived, and I looked at the people that I ran with, and I did not have the opportunity to survive as I did, or the second chance at life, whether it was by a bullet or whether it was by sickness or whether it was just circumstances of life, financially or poor decision makings. Um, I had a faith base that just kept me through it all. Um, and in the midst of all of that, people just saw something in me that I didn't see in myself.
Mhm.
And then it's as people started to speak life into me and saw something in me that I couldn't see myself, is how I started seeing I could bring value to people through what I'm doing right now, just articulating, just sharing my story, just speaking. And there's so much life in the word, right? So a man of faith, understanding the word of God is what created everything.
Yeah,
So understanding that there's life in your story, there's life in your tongue. And I just chose to bring life instead of bringing death with my mouth. So that's how I got tailored into this.
that's awesome. And I appreciate you so much. We met on the carpet at the battle raps, and you spoke so much about everything, your clothing brand. Tell us a little bit about that and what that means to you.
Okay, so restored.
Yes.
It's a double-edged sword, right? So restored for a lot of faith-based people are going to think of, by the grace of God, they got a second chance from a spiritual standpoint, right? You've been restored. The old man has died, the new man has arose, biblically speaking, through salvation. So we've been restored. But I also believe in a natural restoration, and that comes from the prison concept. I've seen a lot of men and women walk in that system that looks like me and you. About 67% of them look like me and you. And the returning ratio of that is 70% right now.
Mm.
70% of people that come out of prison go back to prison within 3 years. That's a large number. And that's a big booming business, $1 billion business, right? So when you look at that concept, the human has become the byproduct of financial stability for a system. We're building more prisons than we're building universities. We're pumping more money into prisons than we're pumping into education. We keep cutting down schools and education, building more prisons. That lets you know the trajectory of the future.
Right.
But who's filling them? So what for people that's a little bit educated and has done a little bit of research, we learned that Amendment 13 set us free. Part
Correct.
A. But Part B created another catalyst that said if they say this against us, say that against us, we're locked up again and we lose our freedom. So the word inmate means slave, just a new form of chain gang, right? Chain gang. When I looked at it, I said, well, I can't really impact as much as I would like to impact the people that's currently inside the prison. Even though currently in the South Florida area, we have 3 business classes in the prison. We're teaching business to men and women that are 3 years from release. So when they come out, they can own their own business and not big for a job because we know they're not going to get a job, right? So we try to teach them in that route. But what restored stand for is what a lot of people forget is the lost children of the inmate. So we hear a lot of stories about the victims and which are should be told and should be tailored to.
Mm-hmm.
Because anytime somebody is a victim of anything, the story should be validated, correct? But
Correct.
but kids are innocent. Whether the parent that's incarcerated is guilty or not, the kid should not have to suffer the consequences. No, right? The kid are innocent, but that's not the reality of the situation, right? Back to biblical speaking, we understand that what we do as parents are going to impact our kids, good or
Correct.
bad, right? It just follows. Well, so are these kids. They're twice as likely to end up homeless, twice as likely to end up getting violence, twice as likely to end up in suicide, depression, twice as likely to commit crimes, and twice as likely to end up in prison. So if
Correct.
their parents are at 70%, they're at 140% of going to prison
Right. Products
for
of
doing
environment.
nothing. So what I did was I said, well, how can I not reduce those numbers, but just impact them, even if it's by 1%? If I can reduce recidivism by 1%, that saves American taxpayers $220 million a year. If I do it by 4%, that's $1 billion a year. I said, well, let's try it. What if I create a clothing line where everybody, every time you invest, not purchase, you invest in the mission, you invest in the brand. We take a portion of your proceeds and we put it in a scholarship that kids that has a parent that's incarcerated, they can go to college absolutely free on us. And that's our goal. Our
Amazing.
goal is to get this brand as wide as Nike, as wide as Adidas, as wide as any other Gucci, Louis, all of those people that you're paying $1,000 to go to the store so they can pay the same security that looks like you to follow you. All of those people that you're paying $1,000 for a belt, but then they're paying the commissioner with your money, and they're paying the tax people with your money, and they're paying the local state holders with their money to make you not be able to live in their community. I take your money that you invest into our project, and I invest it back into your community for your kids so they can go to college for free. That's at the high school level. If you're at the middle school and elementary school level, we invest that money back into programs, after school programs for parents that now are single family homes. They
Right.
can't afford after school care. They can't afford tech, STEM, entrepreneurship because they don't know about that. We want to put those kids in after school programs for free through, but we can't do it on our own. We need the community's help. And every time the community invests in us, we put it back into those areas that's going to impact the future of our community.
Love it. Definitely, youth driven and ensuring that these children have a brighter future. And I love everything that you stated because, we both touched on the same topic and stated that, they see it. They're constantly around it. They're going to be products of their environment. And, if they don't have, these boundaries or these morals instilled, we're just leaving our children out there to fend for themselves. And with programs like these, it gives them a chance, that opportunity to make something of themselves. So I definitely appreciate and commend you for everything that you guys are doing with Restored. Ah, that's amazing. So, what is the main idea you believe of prison reform?
Can you repeat the question, please?
What is the main idea of prison reform?
The ideology that it's supposed to be, or what it really is?
What it really is in your eyes?
Okay, I was going to say what it should be and what it is 2 different things. Okay. What prison reform is today is mass punishment. Um, at again, the moment that the prison became a for-profit model, the rehabilitation side was thrown out the window because think about it this way, from a business standpoint. If I'm a business owner, I own Restore. And I can create a system that makes 70% of my clients come back. That's a good ratio. In today's society, for every 100 people you market to, you might get 5%. I can guarantee you 70% revolving door. That's a nice, sexy number, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's prison reform. Because you can be in prison for 40 years, they're not going to educate you no more. We had this old concept where, oh, you can walk out of prison with a law degree, you can walk out of prison with this and that. They took all of those away. With the age of the internet, it killed all of that, because all of those things were done through what we called correspondence courses. When people, like universities, were sending paper, the people would do it, they would send it back. Who has time to do? When was the last time you wrote a letter and mailed it out? Exactly. People barely text, right?
Exactly.
So that killed that for the people in prison. Then Bill Clinton in the early 90s passed the bill that took that off the table as well. The Pell Grants for the prisons, so they can't get higher education. The only thing the prisons require to do right now, whether you did 5 years or 50 years, is the year before you get out of prison, they're required by law to give you equivalent to a high school diploma, which is a GED. So that means you were in prison for 40 years. You didn't learn nothing for 39 years, but your last year you got an equivalent of a GED. So you go out, you don't know what a cell phone is. You don't know what an online application is. You're not qualified for anything. That's the reason why we have the returning cycle. So to me, the concept of reform and rehabilitation has exhausted for over 30 years. It's exhausted. And it has become because they put the fear in mass media where they tell you, well, would you rather put your money into the prison for those killers and criminals or your kids to go to college? That was the slogan, right?
Right.
Especially with the lotto. That was the slogan, right? Why is the lotto providing less money to colleges now? It used to provide 100, now it's 75, now it's 60. But there's more lottos, there's more Powerballs, there's more Mega Millions, there's more money, but less college funding, but more prison funding. So is the money being reallocated for a different purpose than what it was initiated for?
Right.
Again, back to prison reform. So we got to look at what they're telling us they want us to see in the media through fear and control, but what they're doing behind backdoor deals, right? With the GEO and how they're making money to make sure people like me and you stay there. And guess what? It's a constant cash cow. They work in prison for free. They fix the building for free. They do the plumbing for free. They do the roof for free. They cut the grass for free. They cook for free. Big money. And you got a lot of people invest a lot of money to make sure privatized prison are a big thing. So to me, rehabilitation is only privatized prison and create more capital and the wealthy put more money in their pocket. That's all it is. Nobody's getting help in the prison at all.
And we see that it's so sad. You know, we know that our one of the celebrities that are huge on the prison reform is, Yandy, and shout out to her because she has been such a huge advocate as well. And it's sad to see, and it's definitely our people, and they're all types of people in the prison system, but mostly our people. And it's a way to keep people down. I definitely understand that we need
One person, one person that I want to highlight that actually did not just be vocal about it, but he put his foot down to the ground. That was right. Was John Legend, right?
that.
This guy, this young brother, especially in the South Florida area, this young brother did not just talk about it. He was hands on, foot on the ground. Amendment 4, for everybody that don't know what it is, go look it up. Amendment 4 was all a big push by John Legend. And what that did was when people got out of prison, the reason why the recidivism was at 70%, that's not because of new crimes. People think, oh, they went back out there and they committed new crimes, they went back to prison. No, that's because they couldn't find a place to live because
Right.
nobody, especially in Florida, you can't rent to a felon. So where are you going to live? You got the money, you got the job, but they won't rent to you. But you don't have enough to buy. Then they won't give you a job. So they force you to live under the bridge. Or when you do live under the bridge, they tell you, no, you got to keep moving. You can't sleep under the bridge, right? John Legend pushed for that Amendment 4, and what that did was it allowed us to have one opportunity, was to vote. What's going to happen now is because there are so much people with felony charges, almost 40% of American citizens have some type of charge on their name that cannot vote. Imagine that 40% able to vote now and
Right.
have an impact in who's sitting in power and able to say, no, 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 for the past 50 years you've been in office and you've been keeping me suppressed. I can have a voice now because the greatest thing they can do is take away your rights. And if they can take your rights, you can still pay taxes, but you still can't vote. You still can't live here. You can't do anything because you have no rights. And Amendment 4 gives us back the right to say, no, I want to work. No, I want to live. No, I want this person. I want that person. And they're still fighting back, even though it was passed.
Right. Wow. So, how does it feel to be that voice of reason for those that cannot utilize their voice?
I don't know if I'm the voice of reason. I think I'm just the loudmouth, right? I think I have a little bit more insanity and more bravery than others, right? And with my insanity and bravery comes with a little intellect, and a little charisma, and a little bit of way know how to maneuver, and that has helped me in a lot of arenas. But like I said, I've been shot in the stab, so there's a thug somewhere hiding behind that too. So I don't get crossed easy. I don't get tested easy. But I'm very
You're
political about it, right? I'm very polished about it in
right.
the way that I present it, right? It's like 50 cents. He can say whatever he wants, but you're not going to test him, right? In the same fashion. I'm just not afraid not to speak. Let's put it that way, right? We love the concepts of Black History Month when we talk about the MLKs and Martin Luther King and the garbage. We love talking about the Toussaint Louverture's and we all of these guys, Shaka Zulu, whatever, right? We love the ideology of these superhumans that stood up and said something until it's time for you to do it, or until it's time for your son to do it. Your son to be the next Malcolm X. Your son to be the next Martin Luther. No, no, we like that somebody else, but not in our house. Nobody wants to own that responsibility for change. MLK was great. He had a dream, but his dream's being realized through me and you. He didn't see it. Everybody wants to realize their dreams,
You know,
right? Everybody want to see it now.
but since you pointed that out, and I sorry to cut you, why do you feel that there's a hindrance there? You know that nobody wants to pursue that. Is it some sort of fear or
Systematic fear, right? So everything's systematic. The way we think is systematic. You know, the reason why it's called TV programming, people
Mhm,
forget the rest of the word programming. It's
mhm.
systematic, right? We have been released physically from the shackles, but you can release somebody from physical shackles, but the mental one is so much more severe, right? One of my favorite animals, this one behind me, the lion,
Right?
because of the king of the tribe of Judah, Jesus, and this guy. And people's like, why do you like this guy?
Elephant.
Yeah, right? Because I'm going to show you how it represents us black people, right?
Mm,
The elephant, lovely, big, strong, right?
yes.
Strong, big guy. He makes the lion run away, right? But if you catch him as a baby and you put a shackle on him, he can't break it. When he becomes a huge adult and strong enough to break it, his memory won't allow him to break it. He can break free, but his memory won't allow him to break free,
Mm,
right? But he has the capability, the physical capability now as a grown elephant to break it. But he remembers when he was a kid, he kept trying, he couldn't break it. So now he doesn't even make an attempt to break it, right? That's no different than us. When you get beat so long, when you get pushed down so long, when they mentally suppress you for so long, when you are born into a system, when you are educated into a system, generation after generation, 400 years worth of generations,
right.
later, that's like 80 generations, every 20 years is a generation, 400, that's like 80 generations
That-
later. Those shackles may be physically gone, but what's mentally still there is what's stopping us from making those movements, as you stated.
yes. So, why do you think that the criminal justice system definitely needs the reform?
Set my people free, like Moses said, right? But no, I think it needs a reform because there's a statement that says that the two smartest people are held in two places: prisons and graveyards. Those are where you're going to find the smartest people in the world. One got caught, one got killed. That was the only difference, right? And the biggest crooks out here are just the ones that haven't been caught yet, and they put in the people in the prisons, right? The reason why I believe it would do a benefit is because America loves to talk about capital, 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 money, 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 money. Let's talk about that money, right? Well, I give you some stats. So, in American history, what I've learned is the only time they listen is if it has to do with capital. Slavery, capital, right? Anything that they do has to revolve around capital. Like, show me the money and I'll listen. You touch my pocket, I'll listen. Any other thing, they don't want to listen, right? They say they don't have enough money when we come out to give jobs, to give housing and all that stuff. That's one of the biggest reasons why they keep this revolving door, because they don't have enough funds in their government funding. But yet we're trillions of dollars in debt ourselves, and but that's another story. Well, I created a system where if I can reduce recidivism, like I said, by just 1% through my system, I can save you $225 million. You'll say, well, where's that $225 million going? Well, what they're not telling you as a taxpayer, whether the person's incarcerated or not, or out or not, you paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
You are paying $35,000 to $60,000 to house an inmate tax. But when they come out, you won't give them a $7 job. Do the math. But if you let them out and you pay them, then they can take their tax dollars and put it into the depleted fund that you said doesn't currently exist.
Mm.
That you said that currently doesn't exist. But if you reduce recidivism by 1%, we just got 225 million back plus the percent, that 1%, now invest back into that 25 million. So let's make that 300 million. If we reduce it by 4%, we
Right.
got $1 billion. Now, if I had $1 billion of government money, I think I could build some housing.
Right.
Yes?
Absolutely.
Right? Even if I put them out in the woods, I can build some housing. I think I can create some jobs.
Oh, yes.
1 billion? I'm not too wise, but I think I could create a couple of jobs. But that's only 1 billion of the tax money that we're already paying. We're going to pay it regardless. But then that 4% of returning citizens are now tax working payers. They're
Right.
adding to that deficit of 1 billion. Now we're probably looking at 1.2, 1.3 billion dollars. And you're telling me there's not a solution.
Mm.
So to me, that's why. Because reducing the numbers add back into our financial standing and strengthens our financial structure in America by billions. Why would you want to take your billions of tax hurt money, and put it into privatized prisons, GEO, people that you would never meet, that
Right.
wants to keep your family incarcerated, but you're making them richer? It's not state, it's privatized. I mean, somebody's making a profit off of this,
Yeah.
off your tax money. It's like saying there's a bank account that you're putting money into, but you can never withdraw from it.
Right.
That doesn't make sense to me. If
It's
I put money into something, I want to withdraw from it.
absolutely.
So why don't we do it this way? That way, the community can withdraw from it and build back for the people that's coming out.
Because it wasn't meant for us in the first place.
I don't know. I just bring the facts. I just bring the numbers. I just bring the solutions to a problem that has no solution.
Right.
Like if somebody would like to partner up with me and put my system in the prisons, I can reassure you with my system in the prison, not only do we have an incubation concept, if you think about it, if I'm helping people learn business in prisons, they're creating business ideas, and I pitch them out here, and we create funding, and then we make a percentage of everything that they make before they even get out, while they're out. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of ideas. It's never going to stop. 670,000 people get released from prison every year. That's a possible 670,000 businesses that we can start and own every year. And then that's 670,000 businesses that not pay taxes, that not can hire people that's coming out of prison. Because everybody's not made to be a business owner, but they've been there, so they know.
Right.
I'm just saying. There's solutions. But there's powers that be.
Yes, absolutely. Make it make sense, I say.
Make it make sense. There you go.
That's my line and I stick to it all the
I
time.
like it.
So do you think all of this adds up to this huge backlogging that we're seeing in the prison systems?
Well, we have a thing before Obama left, before our favorite 45 came into office. It was called Cut 50. We have to cut the prison population by 50%, but they don't want to tell you that. Clinton knows that.
Mm.
Trump knows that. They all know that. We can't manage it. Even if we keep building, we can't manage it. Did you know that the United States has more people in prison than the whole world put together?
Yes.
Are we that bad?
Yes.
Are we that vicious and that criminalized? I don't believe it.
There's
But think about it. We have probably 10% of the world's, well, not even 10, like 4 or 5% of the world's population. But we have more people in prison than everybody put together. So we have to cut the deficit, right? We have to break it down. Before Obama left, he left a platform where he left a template of a business that he want people to create and put in prison. I created it. and it was a $20 million project, a grant from the government. I created it, and I wanted that money bad because I know I could do it.
Right.
When
Amazing.
45 came into office, because he wanted to undo everything Obama did, he took that off the table.
Oh no.
Yeah, he took my 20 million off the table. I was running up to that 20 million, right? I say that to say this: the backlog will always exist as long as that mindset exists,
It's
right? Because you have to understand the same way me and you are looking like, well, my people, my shade, and it's, in a way, that's a selfish ideology, right? That's a selfish mindset. Although we feel the tension, we feel the suppression, we feel the anger and everything that we've went through, and we feel validated in our statements. But the reality is, we have been taught to be selfish in our way of thinking as well. Because at the end of the day, there's only two things that exist: a man and a woman. The shade doesn't exist. The shade doesn't even exist. We created the shade for category and superiority and financial standings or whatever we want to do. But blonde hair, blue eyes, whatever, nappy hair, dark eyes, whatever. We created these systems, but they're not real because two black dark people have a white child
this is
every day,
this is
every day
it
with
happened.
blonde hair, blue eyes,
Look. You,
right?
so we have our Chinese, Jamaican.
We produce all colors,
Yes.
right?
So,
So why do we separate them when we have the power to produce the opposite color,
so true.
right? So even we've been system because of pain and trauma, obviously, to only think of ourselves,
But you
selfishness,
said it the first time though. It's programming.
systematic programming, right? So I believe that that backlog will always exist as long as we are cash cows. We became a byproduct. The human is not a product. Like the same way you sell this elephant, you sell a drink, you sell a pencil or paper. We're nothing more than a piece of paper or a pencil to a company. We are the product somebody comes by. The court system buys us, right? The police buys us. The lawyers buy us, and they put us into their store, and we work for free.
Hmm.
That's all it is.
Okay. So with everything that we just discussed, um, do you think then that it is time for the revival of restorative justice in the criminal justice systems across the globe?
Across the globe. Well, some of the globe is already ahead of us. We're just the slow ones.
Like Canada,
Huh?
oh, for sure, Canada did.
Well,
They're
Canada, Norway is ahead of the world, right? Norway is in the head of the world. I, yes, because I think thinking of just corporal punishment and the purpose of why the prison was created was that I made a mistake. I'm gonna go through the system and learn the mistake that I made. Learn how not to make that mistake again.
right.
Grow from it and exit prison. That was prison. Somewhere along the way, money got involved. Like the hospital, money got involved. The hospital's supposed to be a free thing. Go in and get treated. Somewhere where when money touches something, it gets tainted,
Mm-hmm.
and it changed. Right? It changed. I think we need to go back to that way of thinking and allowing people to have second chances. If they mess up their second chance, that is their choice. That's a personal choice. Not to allow them to have a second chance, now that should not be a choice. Right? We like to label people. I
Mm,
always ask people, as you label people and you say they're this, they're that, based on whatever charges that they had. If you had to walk around every day of your life with the worst thing you've ever done on your chest every day, the worst, think about the thing that nobody knows, the worst thing you ever done. Maybe you killed somebody by accident. Maybe you raped somebody. Maybe you drugged somebody. Whatever. Maybe you beat up somebody really bad. Whatever you did, it's all
like
in your head.
days with the women and putting the A's on their chest and so
Eh,
forth.
eh, there you go, girl. That's what I'm talking about. Or I spreaded herpes. I spreaded AIDS, right?
Exactly.
What if you had to walk around, but you never got caught? But what if every day you had to walk around with that title? Is that fair?
No, absolutely not.
It's not. So it's not fair to call you by your worst day because you had one bad day. But for the rest of your life, though, that one bad day is gonna be right. That's how we're treating people that's coming out of prison. We're treating them off one bad mistake, one bad decision. Some people deserve it, some people don't. I'm not the one that's made to judge that. But to judge every day for the rest of their life off one decision, I think that's a little extreme.
Right.
But again, there's going to be the person that says, what about a rapist or a predator or this or that? I said, yeah, you look at results. You don't look at the trauma. You don't look at the what brought them to that
But
place.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate now. With that being said, it's not fair game for every person either. Because we know
No.
this depends on your um, status,
Oh
or
yeah, and skin color.
so if
Mm.
that title or that brand is on you for the rest of your life, because some we know you never hear one thing about it ever again. Just depends.
Money talks.
Exactly.
Money's power.
Exactly. You would never know because you're working with some of the worst of the worst and wouldn't even believe it, but based on your wealth, and it's just sad. But I appreciate you shedding light on that. So we talked about where we see some of the change already happening. We talked about Norway, we said in Canada. So do you believe that rehabilitation is dead?
Currently, currently for the system, it is. For the individual, no. Right? So if you go into the system and you're expecting the system to give you some form of rehabilitation and uplifting and it's okay, we're gonna get you better. We know you made a mistake, pat on the back, let's send you back out there. You got this. You're an idiot.
Oh
But
no.
but if you have a strong mind and you go in there and regardless of what the system tells you, you go in there for self-rehabilitation. You educate yourself, you pray, you stay focused, you take that time to rebuild you because you have no distractions. Whether it's a year or 10 years, for those 10 years, it's you and you. Michael Jackson, man in the mirror. Once you make that decision to do self-rehabilitation and educate yourself and make yourself a better person, whatever that look like, yes, it exists. But it's on an individual by individual basis, not a systematic thing.
Mm,
Like the system is not there for that. Like I know men in prisons, they started business classes and started teaching other men. I know men in prison that started public speaking classes and started teaching other men. Now these men are great public speakers making millions of dollars, right? I know men in prison started CDL classes because they were truck drivers out here, and now guys are coming out with CDL licenses,
right.
right? It's on an individual by individual basis. You have to make a decision because now I could offer the class, but if you don't choose to come, then it doesn't really benefit you,
Right.
right?
Makes
But
sense.
the prison's not going to offer it to you. The prison's going to offer you yard. It's going to offer you chow hall. It's going to offer you work duty. It's going to offer you abuse, maybe death, maybe beatings, and back to the dorm.
Mm,
So you pick your choice. But people get caught up in that system. They get caught up in the cycle and they say, man, for the next 40 years, I'm going to see this one block. Think about it, one circle for 40 years. That's all you see. Those same buildings for 40 years. That's it. One
right.
system. That can break a person to not want to drive because you know what? Another person might go in there with the mindset that 30 years, I might not make it past this week. I'm not built, like I'm not built for
But
this, right? I'm not that guy.
their mindset.
So again, it goes back on the individual mindset. If their mind is strong, that's how I started. If you could be the smallest guy and the toughest guy, don't
Mm,
matter. But if your mind is strong, you will survive and excel. But if your mind's weak, when you go in there, that devil playground,
you could forget about it.
you're a dead man. Dead man walking.
Whew. Uh, it's very, very informative for sure. So, with that, how does family violence, such as domestic abuse, child abuse, intimate partner violence, contribute to the juvenile delinquency?
It progresses it at a fast rate, right? Because it's these everything in life is what we call taught behavior, right? We are nothing but a bunch of parrots out here, carbon copies, duplications. We see, we repeat, we duplicate, we see, we repeat. Our whole learning curve is like that. We learn from the five senses. I see it, okay, I can do it. I hear it, I can repeat it. I touch it, I feel it, I understand it. I taste it, I comprehend it, right? So I smell it, I get it, right? So everything we do is a duplication of something that we're around, environment we see, we were taught, right? It's going to increase it for the simple fact that you made a great statement where we've seen in the system when we get to the point where we're in front of the judge, where if you're one complexion and I'm a different complexion, but we have the exact same charges, we're going for completely different times. I might not go at all, and you're going for a long time. Yes. Well, there's a book. There's a few books that. What's the exact name? I might have to send it to you. It's literally saying from. It's literally stating, from a black woman's womb to prison, from school to prison pipeline.
Oh, okay.
From they've already predetermined from our suspensions, our single families, the abusive nature from our previous homes, when we're going to end up in prison. They've already predetermined for us. From third grade, they already told us which one of our kids are going to prison. School, that's a real thing. Like redlining is a real thing. Like gentrification is a real thing. We can pretend like they're not real. These are real things. So your black child, your brown child, is already predetermined when they're going to end up in prison. School to prison pipeline. But where are they getting these analysis from? How are they making these determining factors? All those questions that you just asked. The environment in which the child is being produced will determine the reaction of the child, the emotional stability of the child, the physical reaction of the child. Yes? And we've seen some kids. We've seen, we could tell what kind of home they grew up in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just for a system that's unapologetic towards them. Because the system at 18,
And
no
it's
fault.
a cycle.
Yeah, there's no slap in the wrist.
It's a cycle, though, So it's that parent, they went through it as a child, and
Of course.
that learned
Taught behavior.
repeated behaviors, learned, and
It's taught again.
no curses, and that's where we have to find a stopping point and incorporate more therapy, because the mindset, like you said, is where you either make it or you break. And
So,
you make it or you break it within your own households, because whatever trauma that you had as a child, you're going to break and take that out on your child. And another learned behavior, and then that child is going to have emotional scars, and then how they treat others is based on how they're treated at home.
right. So, in our culture, we say breaking generational curses, right? Okay. Every generation, there's that one person that breaks something, right? But it goes back to that strong mind. I'm tired. No, I can't. I can't go down this path. My father was a very abusive military man. He had some heavy hands. He abused my older sister. He abused my mother. Wow. I had a mother that lost my older brother. I had 7 sisters. I'm the only boy. I was supposed to have an older brother. But my dad was a dude with some heavy hands and very short temper. And a military guy, very well skilled, right? Well, where did he get this garbage from? Well, his father was an alcoholic and a drunk. Well, his grandfather didn't do fair too well either.
Right.
So I saw the trend. I think what saved me from that lineage was I started living on my own life circumstances and trials and tribulations at 15 years old. So at 15, I started living on my own. I'm 37 now. For the past 22 years, I've been raising me. Right? It's the different people that came into my life that represented different father figures, different mentors, or different people, whether they was thugs or pastors or old white Jewish people. And they showed me a different lens of life that I did not see in my home. And I craved that. Like when I saw the 70-year-old Jewish man that looked onto a 19-year-old boy, and he's taking me to his home, huge home, Mercedes. This is stuff I only saw on TV. Like this is not real in my hood. In my hood, you were the pimp, the drug dealer, or the mechanic. That's it. That's all I saw. But then I left that environment, even though I was in the streets. But people that saw something inside of me that I could see myself. And this 70-year-old white guy is still my friend to today. His son worked for Apple, and he's taking me to his house to feed me amongst all these white people. That I'm like, who are you people, right? And then he's like, you look about a good side. Go pick any suit out of my closet. I'm homeless. Pick any suit you want. Pick any shirt you want. Come back tomorrow for dinner. That changed my mind. So the community you in not only form you, but if you get different exposure, it inspires you.
Yes.
And I saw, even though I was homeless, but I was exposed to a different environment from what I was used to and different upbringings. And I saw him love on his wife after 40 years. That was different for me. I saw him and his grandchild and his kids like I thought this was only for TV. I thought this was role playing. But I saw it in real life. Now I crave that. I crave to be like him. I wanted to be him, right? But I had to unlearn what my father taught me. That anger, that resentment, that hate.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it was that was inside of him that he put in, I had to unlearn. But I had to make a decision to not want to be that person. But a lot of people don't have another exposure to want to make a different decision.
Right. That is so true. But that's why we have, you know, youth advocates and,
People like you.
and you.
Nah, you. I'm following your footsteps. People like you.
So, and Dr. Dorn, because he's a huge youth advocate. So, absolutely amazing. And I love everything that you stand for. And I know you're a man that wear many hats also. So, tell us a little bit about the
But I
Blue
only have one hat on right
Lighting
now.
Services. The Blue Lighting Consulting Services. Tell us a little bit about that.
Blue light is like my little pride and joy that I don't brag about. You just know it, and I benefit. You benefit from it, right? Um, Blue light is catered to the small business owner. So in today's society, we're so stuck on lineage. Like I look at a lot of our black communities, our mom and pop stores. They've been around for 20, 30 years, but there's only one of them. Why? Mom and pop restaurants. There's only one of them. Why? But then McDonald's or KFC and these other ugly guys that has horrible food, horrible customer service, they come in today and they got 10 on the block. Like put a Dunkin' Donuts right now or Starbucks. I bet you see 10 of them in 2 months from now, right? What is the formula that they're using that we're not using that we can do the same thing, right? So it's simple. It's called Business Model Canvas and Design Thinking. From Stanford, Harvard, Yale, you can learn these things. Well, I took my time to go learn them from them. I went to Harvard courses, Yale courses, Oxford courses. I like to learn. I want to know what is it that they know that we don't know that's making them so successful. And
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing complex. It's very simple. You just pay a lot of money for the simple stuff. All right. I take that same education and give it back to people. I don't want you to be dependent on blue light. I want blue light to build a vehicle that teaches you how to drive this business and teach you how to drive it the right way, how to take it from linear to duplicating to tripling to quadrupling. My motto, you have a motto, my motto is duplicate the process without duplicating the effort. We love to keep over exerting and expecting more results. I'm not about that life. I'm light skinned, we don't do that, right? I want to duplicate the process without duplicating the effort. We
Look,
bruise easy. I'm
look,
not
we
going to
don't make it
duplicate the
hard.
effort.
Just don't make it hard. Just,
Yeah, I
just
just want to
make
hit you
it
one time and you
simple.
go down. I'm not trying to let's
Right.
go blow for blow. Who got time for that? I ain't got
Not me.
boom. Is it over? If it's not over, right, you won. I'm gone. Right? So I teach people how to duplicate the process without duplicating the effort to duplicate the income so they can take the extra income and reinvest it back into the same system that they just did and just do it again.
Awesome.
And a lot of times, it's not that they don't know it; they just have horrible budgeting for majority of them, right? They get so comfortable making so much money, they spend a lot more than the money business is really making, and don't really know how to budget and reallocate and how to sacrifice for a few seasons, for like maybe 5, 6 seasons. They want to make money so fast, right? Because I get it, you haven't had it, but if you can sacrifice for 5, 6 seasons, you can live for the rest of your seasons.
Yep. Financial literacy is something that I'm big
Woo!
because
Jesus.
our youth and our people definitely need financial literacy.
Hey, when I see all these $2,000 Gucci belt, Louis belts, and these expensive cars, and living in apartments, these
Just
expensive cars.
like I like to say, make it make sense. Yes. Make
So I just look at it. I'm like, we're flashy. I get it. We're flashy. But I prefer my bank account to be flashy, not me.
Yeah. And I like to use the my little saying, I go to the store all the time and I can tell who's the wealthier person and who's
Hmm.
and that's just
It's easy.
and I'm like, this gentleman over here, he's walking around with his, it could be his skippies, and then you go outside and he might be into some old Toyota or something, but
Hmm.
you drive up to that man's house and his
It's
business,
huge.
like, oh, this is a millionaire, hold on, wait,
Hmm.
and you would never know, like the new saying on the net now is like, who would know? You would never know.
It's
So
because we don't know the value of money.
Correct.
because it's nothing but a tool, a vehicle to be used. But unfortunately, it's using us.
Yes. Absolutely.
Systematic programming again.
Yeah, it's so true. So tell me, with all this knowledge and wealth of experience that you've gained over the years and sharing it with others, if you had the opportunity to speak to your younger self, what advice would you give you?
My younger me. All right. If I was speaking to the youth, I would say, know that you know nothing. You see how you just said that? Oh, I still know nothing. Real wisdom is in the knowing that you know nothing.
Mm,
That's wisdom.
I love it.
That's wisdom. When you get to that point of wisdom, then you've acquired wisdom. To
Hmm.
know that you know nothing. I haven't even scratched the surface of anything.
Me either.
Right?
If
Knowledge,
I'm the smartest cookie in the room, something is wrong.
definitely wrong. Because knowledge is infinite.
Thank you.
And the majority of my growth has been through what we're doing right now, conversation.
Hmm.
Like, but with more seasoned veterans, right?
Absolutely.
Learning the value of a seasoned veteran. They're not competition. That's information. I need that, right?
Yeah.
If I had to I would speak to my 15-year-old me, because that dude, that was the catalyst of whether I was going to succeed or fail. Because at 15, within a matter of a week, I went from comfortability to homeless.
Mm.
No, no prep time. No practice. I game coach. No prep time. Just get in there. And I'm living out of 2 trash bags
Mm.
and sleeping under a bridge. And I'm breaking into my school every morning to shower. And
Wow.
I'm breaking into the school to eat breakfast and breaking into the school to eat dinner and to take shower again.
Mm.
All while trying to keep honor roll, AP, 3.8 GPA, art, basketball, and all of that
Wow.
together, right? Trying to keep it all together. I would tell him, if only you knew how beautiful this painting is going to turn out to be.
Oh,
It looks black. Like I'm an artist. I paint. Let me show you something. Can I show you something?
absolutely.
Okay, cool. I'm going to show you something. Oh, yeah. So I learned to paint. This was one of my I do poetry. I like to
Yeah.
express.
Okay.
I'm that guy I'm that thug guy. I like to fight. I like to box. I like the sports, but I'm very poetic.
Yeah.
So
Saw
this is
that.
one of my paintings.
Oh wow.
All
Beautiful.
right,
I need that.
you got it. You can have it. Isn't that one?
Wow. That
Proverbs 3:5, 6. This is like my slogan, right?
that's
Lean not unto your own understanding, and all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. Do you know how many nights when I could not lean on my own understanding because I didn't have any, and the path was real dark? When you start these paintings, you know how they start. It's a black
like
canvas. I make it black. So I have no real path or direction. I can't see nothing, right? Because the painting's black. It's not white. I make it black. They give it to me white, they're not gonna make it
right.
black. Sounds like life, right? We get a
Mhm.
clean slate, we come out, and then we make everything ugly. We make it black. Now I gotta bring light and colors into this thing to create this picture. Life is like a puzzle, one piece at a time. Stop trying to see the whole thing.
Mm.
Stop trying to see the whole thing. Just find each piece every day. That's why the Bible says we live from faith to faith. He doesn't show you the whole road. He says, no, no, no. Tomorrow has enough worries about itself. Let's worry about today. Let's get this done with today.
Right.
I think we live in such a life in today's society with social media and all of these people false advertising on YouTube and this life of, oh my God, if you make this 5-year plan, 10-year plan, and da, da, da. They lie so much. They sell these ebooks and all this stuff, right? But what they fail to tell people is just wake up today and do what you can today. And tomorrow you repeat the same step. If I could tell him that, because there was many nights he was my 15-year, he was worried. Because when I was sleeping under that bridge or when I was sleeping on the streets, somebody could have just came and killed me. So
Right.
that's a lot of to think about. So I'm always constantly thinking, what am I going to eat? How am I going to keep up these grades? How am I not going to let the school know? Right? Like a lot of thinking. So there's a lot of stress, and a lot of people face this every day in life, whether it's in a corporate world, a relationship, being a parent, whatever. Trying to make it. Stop. breathe. Today is a blessing. You're here. Let's take it. Let's capitalize on today to the best of our ability. And when tomorrow comes, let's repeat the process.
Mm,
That's it. Nothing too complicated. Nothing sophisticated. Just that simple.
awesome. I love it. I love it. So, with that, because of such heartfelt wisdom that you're pouring back into your
Wisdom. I
inner
know nothing.
15-year-old you, what three words would you say describe you and why?
Faith, determination, and heart.
Mm.
Right. My faith base. I remember there was a time I told God, "Listen, I don't care where I go. If I go, you go." That's how I looked at it. If I gotta go, you gotta go. So if I'm going, you going with me. That mean I remember one time I read a scripture that says that if God's for me, who can be against me? So right there, I had my mind changed. Like I won. I don't care what you put me in, I'm gonna win. Like I already like in the natural, I already like to fight naturally. Then you told me this guy that never lost, and he's gonna go everywhere with me. I'm knocking everything out. Whatever life throws at me. That's been a big blessing in my life to have that mindset. I didn't earn it, but I'm grateful that I have it because it makes looking at challenges a lot better. Doesn't mean they're not there, but it just looks a little bit easier from my angle, right? So faith, determination, man. I am one persistent, annoying little guy, right? If I want it, like this annoying little dude here, boy, I'm gonna go get it, and it's like a gnat or a fly or a mosquito that go won't stop. I'm that mosquito, and you ain't gonna smash me. Like when you finally think
Get
you
what
got me,
you have.
you ain't get me.
I
I'm
love it.
annoying. So I'm very, very determined. When I want something, I don't care how hard it is, how difficult, how long it's going to take. I'm going to get it. So I'm determined.
That's great.
And heart. I don't think there is any purpose in life if you don't have heart for people. Not heart to be courageous, not heart to, to be tough. Heart for people. Like
Mm,
people want heart to be courageous. That's cool. I mean, try walking in faith. That takes a lot of courage,
mhm,
right? I thought the faith covered that. But when you have a heart for people as a humanitarian, to just want to help people and love on people and bless people, that is the greatest gift of all. I could see why God says in the scriptures, He says, I love a cheerful giver. And that doesn't just equate to finances. It just means how do you treat people? How do you help people? Like you presented this opportunity for me, right? How do you present opportunity for people? And I love my heart. My greatest weakness is my heart, but my greatest asset and strength is my heart, all in one.
mm.
I'm probably the biggest bag of garbage mistakes that you could ever think about. I define myself as everything you should not do. If you look at my life, do everything you should not do to be successful. That would be the name of my book. Everything you should not do to be successful. That would be my life, right? Until you get to my heart. That is the most purest thing you will ever see in your life.
Mm.
And I thank God for giving me this heart. And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world because I love it.
I would
I
want you
love it.
to. You're such a sweet person, very humble as well. So tell us what we can expect from you in the near future and share all your social handles and the best way that anyone could contact you to just
Gotcha.
get involved with your advocacy, get involved with reform, get involved with the blue light consulting services, all of the above. What can we expect?
Well, I just left Florida after 30 years. After 30 years of South Florida, I moved to Georgia, the ATL area. So
Welcome to.
I'm new. I'm a newbie. I'm a newbie. I've been here
Oh,
for about 3 months now. That event that you saw me at that day was my first outing.
I remember you told me that.
This was my first outing. My virginity was taken away from me in Atlanta. Right, that was my first outing. Um, you know how you could feel in your spirit, like your season, something great's coming. I'm living in that feeling right now. I
Amazing.
don't know what it is, but I'm just claiming it, right? I'm gonna walk in it by faith. Like, oh, it feels so good. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels good. So I'm living in it. I hope that you guys might see me in a couple movie series or TV series from my story. Like I said, I have one of those stories that it's hard to digest. I call my story "The Pursuit of Happiness on Steroids," literally. Um, I hope that there's a book coming out.
Yes.
It's called The Path. Um, I hope to be able to speak and host on some of the biggest. Huh?
I said, and I get my autographed
I
copy.
got you. I
Live
got you.
here, right?
I
Okay.
got you. I hope to be speaking and hosting on some of the biggest stages because I believe I have a story
Yeah.
that can help people, but I have a wealth of knowledge that people can drink from as well. Um, and as far as blue light and everything else and how you guys can get involved with what I'm doing is the same way you guys see my name right there, Dejan Talks. I made life simple for everybody. I didn't create no fancy name for
Whole
nothing. Every platform that exists in the world, just type that in. YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, IG, website. I'm very
platform.
uniform and simple. Simple and uniform.
Yeah.
Same thing everywhere. You know, if some people, every different site you go, it's different name. I ain't got time for all that. Makes it too hard for people to find me. The Jean talks everything, and I'm always dropping videos, always dropping gems. Check my IG. There's lots of motivation there. I'm either dropping quotes or daily motivational videos. That's like 60 seconds because I know people ain't got much time no more. Just to keep you guys going just for that day. So Dejan talks everything. And before I make my exit stage, I have to say thank you for
Thank
allowing me the opportunity, you and everybody behind the scenes that make what we're looking at on the forefront possible. I'm sure it's a team effort. I want to thank you guys for trusting in me and allowing me to come in and just partner up with you guys and speak and break bread for the night. And I hope the people, the viewers, when they get to view this, that it can touch them and they can grow a little bit. Or if they didn't know something, they know a little bit more now than they first walked into the conversation. So
you.
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome and thank you. So, we also extended an invite out for Saturday, October 9th, out
Yes.
at Welcome to South Cobb Festival.
I'm going to be there. I'm probably going to be there between 11 and I'll be there till about 2 o'clock.
Oh, that's awesome. And we'll definitely have you say something to the people because,
Is that a good time?
oh, absolutely.
I won't get to see Genuine though.
I know. But listen, we know you're busy. We know
I wanted to see him. I wanted to
we
take a
have
picture
things
with the light
that
skinned
we're
dude that kept
doing.
us alive for so many years.
Listen, I'm on that bandwagon. We have things that we're doing. So I'm all for it. You're busy. You're traveling. I know you have some other gigs. So we appreciate you even taking the time out to come out and support, the Welcome to South Cobb Festival. Of course, we'll definitely shout you out. Let everybody know that you're in the house. And, we just wanted to say thank you, Dejan, for joining us this evening and dropping a wealth of knowledge with to us and the viewers. Your amazing story and everything that you're committed and dedicated to. It's nationwide and truly inspiring. So definitely keep in touch with us because we love you. We are huge youth advocates, and whatever it is that we have to do to support, you know, we're definitely here. You're a forever family. Once you're in the house, you're in the house. So all we ask is that you pay it forward.
Oh, easy.
Yes. And to the viewers, this is Michelle Diamond and the amazing Dejan Talks on another powerful episode of In the House Media House Talk. Remember, you too are welcomed in the house, and all we ask is that you pay it forward. So until next time, guys,
Thank you.
you're
Have a
welcome.
phenomenal night.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.